This is Julian Hutson-Saxby playing exactly in the middle of the North Sea between Shetland and Norway, playing Swans in Flight, Sailor Song, ladies and gentlemen. Ha ha ha! Full credit to the guitar manufacturer for making a carbon fibre. What a guitar! Yeah.
So my name's Hugo Montgomery-Swan. I was co-organiser of the GORE-TEX Arctic Challenge.
It's an absolutely beautiful day. Just look at this. We've barely got a cloud in the sky. There's a fresh wind coming from the east, and I suppose you could say it's perfect conditions for a really good shakedown.
Which came about by an idea that I'd had some years ago and discussed with Paul Lemmer, who also came on this particular voyage and was responsible for the logistics and the planning of it.
Right, my name is Paul Lemmer. I'm a marine consultant specialising in ribs. I've been doing ribs since 1968. The trip from Scotland to the Arctic Circle has never been done before in a rib. And so we're very excited about this and being the first and pioneering people to do it. Of course, it's been done by the Vikings many hundreds of years ago, but in modern boats like ribs, this is the first attempt.
Hi, I'm Mark Bealey. I'm part of the crew of the GORE-TEX Arctic Challenge. I work for Suzuki Marine. For Suzuki, I cover a large part of the country and island. I knew I'd had a conversation with Paul Lemmer, so I knew Paul was involved. I know he's good fun, Paul, so I was quite happy to do anything with him.
My name's Julian Hutson-Saxby. I'm a guitar player. Have been for many years, played with lots of musicians. Played with Hugo for the past, I think, 18 months. And in playing with Hugo, getting to know Hugo and Hugo's boating exploits, I've been luckily invited to take some of the challenges that Hugo embarks upon.
This little germ of an idea gradually gained momentum, and then over the course of the final 6 months, from autumn of last year really, came to fruition when I said to Pete, how about giving offshore ribbing a go, you know, rather than just your what you're so well known for, your sailing activities. How about some powerboating?
There's quite a lot of work to do, but it's all there for the doing. Just need to get through this fog. God, look at it! It just dropped out of nowhere.
And do you fancy coming exploring with us? His immediate response was, yes, I'd love to.
Well, my name's Pete Goss, and I get called all sorts of things, but I don't know, Cornish adventurer will do. So I do love my adventures, probably mainly in sailing, although I've been to the North Pole a few times. I used to be in the Marines, so kind of adventures have always been a big part of my life.
Okay, my name's Ed Gould. I'm creative director at Carswell Gould. My role within the challenge was twofold. One, it was to help conceive the strategy, the communication strategy that we'd use to tell people about the challenge, and the other one was crew member, which involved camera work, driving a boat, and everything else that is part of going to sea on one of these challenges.
Well, it's a beautiful afternoon, the sun's shining, but there really is a stiff breeze here as we wait for Bryony Gordon from the Daily Telegraph to show up. here at Trafalgar Wharf.
My name is Bryony Gordon. I am a feature writer on the Daily Telegraph in London, which means I do all the sort of fluffy, girly stuff. I was quite shocked when I received an email asking me if I'd like to be involved in this, seeing as I've grown up in London my whole life. I've only ever been on a pedalo in the Serpentine. But I thought, gosh, what a jolly good challenge this would be.
She gives me the feeling that she's got a lot of spirit. She's dead keen to be on the team, and I think she's really looking forward to this first experience of going out on a rib.
I've spoken to Ed, who seems very nice. He seems as sort of unprepared as I am, which is good.
We had quite a mixed crew, really, in terms of experience at sea. You know, on right at the sort of zenith, you had the likes of Pete Goss, who've done more than any of us and experienced more than any of us 10 times over. And then on the other end of the scale, you had Bryony, for instance, who'd barely ever been out in a boat before.
I realised that in driving these boats, you know, there's a good way and a bad way to do things, and you can make it very easy on yourself. So with Paul, Lemmer and Hugo, we've got a wealth of experience with the handling of these craft.
Set in stone for me when I found out that we'd be arriving in the Arctic Circle on my 31st birthday, and I thought it was a sign. So I said, despite the little voices in my head saying, "Don't do it, Bryony," I agreed, and I'm quite excited but terrified.
Yeah, and we're not sure whether Bryony knows what she's getting herself into. I mean, maybe I don't either, because I've not seen big sea states, so you could say the same for me, I suppose.
Funnily enough, some of the worst damage I had on a yacht was 2 miles off Plymouth. So having sailed around the world a few times, you have to respect the sea.
There was a storm on our tail brewing. You could just see it, you know, advancing the whole time, and the seas were getting bigger and bigger. We were running at a big following sea.
Getting across to Norway will be our biggest challenge, and yes, we're looking forward to it, but nevertheless it's slightly concerning. We just hope for good weather.
We surfed so fast and hard down one face of a sea that we buried the boat completely in the trough and were overtaken by the sea behind. The whole boat was completely flooded and underwater, and because the batteries were submerged, all the metalwork on the boat became live.
You know, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So hopefully I'm going to come back looking, you know, fresh-faced. You know, actually just to come back would be like a really good thing to be able to do. So yeah, that's all I'm looking for, just in my physical form, you know, alive.
I remember one other occasion actually coming across the channel in a little 4.8 metre rib. A similar thing happened, and the boat went completely under the water this time. And I remember looking up and seeing the top of the helm console with the GPS unit under the water and the light shining through the seas down at me.
And by the way he was describing it, it didn't seem to be that bad. So I said, yeah, I'll go along with it. Not for 1 second fully understanding exactly what was involved.
Well, I suppose the obvious question is, could that sort of thing happen to us as we head north up to the Arctic Circle? I guess the answer is yes, these are very small boats.
Right, here we are, we're in Wick. This is the headland overlooking Wick Harbour.
Sure, you can do it in a sailing boat, but it'll take you weeks and weeks.
Yeah, we're on top of it. It's been 1001 things to nail, but we're there now.
I mean, the route itself was pretty simple. We started in Wick. We went up to the Shetlands, we then rattled across the Norwegian Sea. That was the longest leg, really, across to Norway. But the trend has been a high pressure system and everything's settling. So actually, it's fantastic.
No, there's no way I can back out now. I've got to do it. So I'm going to get out there and, as Laura says, hopefully get a tan, a wing tan. That'd be nice.
Well, that's John O'Groats. You can see there, we've just left Wick. Ed, what do you reckon?
Well, so far it's looking a very nice day, but we'll see how it goes.
Ribs are quite unique because they're just fantastic coastal exploring craft. You can get right in into caves as we did, or they're just as capable of doing that as they are going way offshore.
I'm not that brave. From the outside, there's two sort of passages, but it opens up to this great big cabin where the two join together, and the noise is fabulous.
Was insistent that we had these Musto HPX, these GORE-TEX suit, which are like a force field. I mean, the weather's irrelevant. You're totally dry and warm inside.
Well, I have to say, this is just fantastic. And all thanks to this technology, I am warm and dry and loving it. Oh look, there's more breaking water on that side. That one looks more fun.
I just put my bikini on instead. It's a joke. Because the back of my head hit water. Yeah. Really cold.
This is our first beer of the trip.
And go. Okay, well, we're in Lerwick. We're just about to leave. We're going to do a night passage over to Malloy in Norway. We're doing a night passage because we've waited here for the weather to get a little bit better.
And that big 250 mile stretch across the Norwegian Sea is a big old lump of water to cross. And having done that sort of thing before, I know that it can be tough going and it can be pretty rotten and you can get beaten up.
So here we are, here's the Shetland Isles, here's Malloy, Norway, and we are in the middle of the gas and oil fields here.
When we hit the halfway point, I noticed that Bryony was in good spirits and that impressed me. I thought, okay, she's doing well. She's doing very well. Ed was loving it. Everybody was in a very good mood.
Now would you like some?
Life is so bloody serious, isn't it? You've got to have a little bit of fun. And so we grabbed it whenever we had the opportunity. And one highlight for me was middle of the Norwegian Sea. And we stopped for a coffee and a sandwich, and Julian jumped off the boat with this amazing carbon guitar and serenaded us from well, basically floating around in his suit, which was great. Yeah.
Full credit to the guitar manufacturer for making a carbon fibre.
What a guitar!
Yeah.
What do you say?
We were going into the Norwegian coast at 30 knots with Bryony on the helm, screaming and hollering and really loving it. When we first got there, it was overcast and we found ourselves trapped in this rather grey, two-dimensional world. We were quite tired having done the night trip across from Norway, so I think there is always a day when you just have to earn your keep, and that first day in Norway would have been the day, I think.
There's pine trees everywhere, beautiful houses, and then as you come underneath the bridge you reach Malloy, the town itself. And so we've reached Norway. After 9 hours heading out of Wick, we finally got to Malloy, and it is stunning. The journey was arduous, however the weather was far better than I had expected. Most of the guys have gone to bed. I'm doing what you can only do after a 10-hour journey in a boat, and that's go and meet the others for a beer.
Bryony?
I'm taking all the drugs that I need to get me through the day. Sea sickness tablets, mint, sorry, Vaseline.
We got into several days of pretty dirty weather, low cloud, rain, you know, a biting wind on the nose, and that felt more like hard work. And although we could appreciate that we were making our way up this beautiful mountain scenery, it was kind of dampened rather by the weather. The Ullman shock-absorbing seats were absolutely the way to go. They were absolutely brilliant. They really saved our crew from being beaten up. We did have a Norwegian sub come up right beside us. That was quite interesting.
Probably not allowed to take pictures. Very touching, the Norwegians.
The Gecko helmets were superb. They were a whole new dimension, and I'm going to start using them in my sailing actually. So they were very good.
Anything out of the food bag? What? Anything out of the food bag? Food? You have that blasted helmet? Yes. Do you want anything out of the food bag? Well, it's food, you know. What would you like?
Well, Ed, again, Ed just did really well. He threw himself into this thing. I think he was quite worried about it, understandably. I've had ribs as a functional piece of kit, but it was just wanted to enjoy them for what they have to offer, and of course they're fantastic. They're good rugged little sport boats.
Sorry? I'm just waiting for them to get ahead. Don't get in their way, just try to find them. I know. I could feel myself falling asleep and my grip loosening on the chair. Like every so often I just go like, and then just like suddenly grip it again. It just shows you if you're tired enough you can actually sleep through hell. Good sort of half days. Yeah, properly. Is it Sandy? It's catching you, Pete! It's catching you! See what I caught? This is horsepower, that's manpower.
I think it was on day 4, day 5, we were weaving our way up through the sort of inner route, through the Isles and up the fjords and what have you.
So we're going to stop for lunch on a little strip of land in the rain. Lovely.
One of the things we did do is we would always stop for tea breaks and, you know, all mix up together again. And
as is the way I'm learning, you have to get in the water to get out the water. The guys are pulling the boats up as far as they can and then they'll anchor them. I'm going to get to the beach and find a good spot before everyone else gets there, because it's such a nice day. I'm sure this beach is going to be very busy very quickly.
So it's day 5 on the GORE-TEX Arctic Challenge, and we're about to head out into the rough stuff, but We're lucky enough to have a beautiful day, and so we thought, we're in Ribs, we can do this, we can stop off and find little places, and we found the most beautiful place for a bite to eat. We're heading from Rawvik, about 140 miles today, and it is going to be rough out to sea, even though it doesn't look like that behind me at the moment.
We were really hoping to be able to see this place at its best, and when the sun came out, well, everybody was just elated to see the environment at its very, very best and its full glory, as it were, and people's spirits likewise just picked up, you know.
My name is Paul, and this is Norwegian tombstoning in the middle of nowhere.
Who's the best dancer? Is it Andy Warrender?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah.
Andy, what's your favourite song that you've heard so far? Andy's gone mute. How is your first dip?
Oh, it's lovely.
What's the temperature? What's your temperature like in there?
The temperature's warm.
Would you go in your bikini?
No, I can't wear the top anymore. My boobs are too big.
I guess we did all rather reflect the mood of the weather on a daily basis. The sun allowed you to see all this richness of colour and this is a great depth.
5.
Okay.
I've had about 5 hours sleep a night, and we get going very early in the morning as well, compared to what I usually get going. As an office boy, I tend to rise and stumble into work around 9 to 10, between 9 and 10. So, but the fresh air and the being outside, I'm starting to get used to it, and I'm starting to actually enjoy waking up in the morning, which is quite a shock to me.
What other lies would you like to tell me yet?
Okay, I still can't handle it at all.
Okay.
But it makes it worth it by midday. By midday I'm awake, and then I'm enjoying it.
It seems to be unfolding in a nice way. Things are getting better because the sun's come out.
You could take a camera out of your pocket with your eyes shut, go click and shove it in a brochure. It was beautiful.
The final bit of the final leg was memorable.
Jessica, this is Lundy. Can you please say again?
I was just saying I wanted to test out the radio, that's all. I don't want to, nothing else. It's lovely weather we're having, over.
Very nicely done, well done.
After quite a difficult crossing, we had a lovely welcome. We had boats coming out to greet us.
GORE-TEX Arctic Challenge!
Oh, it's funny, I love beginnings, and I'm not so sure that I like endings, and of course all good things have to come to an end.
Everybody threw themselves into the water, and they were great celebrations and shouts of joy and mirth.
Bryony,
Yeah.
you've just finished the GORE-TEX Arctic Challenge, and you've got the whole way, all the way from England to the Arctic, without hurting yourself at all. Look up. However, you seem to have a nosebleed.
I don't know why I've got a nosebleed, and it's horrible, and I want to go and have a hot bath and paint my nails and have a cup of chamomile tea and have massage and put a dress on. I want to put a dress on, and I want to put high heels on and stockings and nice
I think it was a wonderfully refreshing thing to do, because it really does lift you out of the challenges of life that we're all involved with on one sort or another.
One thing that has been demonstrated is those boats and engines are fantastic. They're tougher and more rugged than any crew member that they would carry. So I guess it's down to just individual endurance and imagination. And I think it should go further. I really do. It would be a wasted opportunity if it doesn't.